You're listening to Sip and Grow the podcast, the show where we taste awesome, delicious wines while having unfiltered conversations about our passions, experiences, struggles, entrepreneurship, and life. My name is Nicole Di Pasquale, and I'm a wine enthusiast just trying to pursue her passions and dreams while taking you on the journey with me, one episode at a time. My ultimate goal is to not only bring you wine knowledge and value, but also inspire you to enjoy your process and journey in pursuing your passions and dreams. Because guess what? The person you become while enduring the process is more important. So sit back, grab a glass, and let's sip and grow together. Hello, beautiful Sip and Grow family, and welcome back to another episode of Sip and Grow the podcast with me, your host, Nicole Di Pasquale. Today, we are actually going to touch a grape varietal that I personally have never tried and recently heard about or read up on. It's Pinotage from South Africa. So this specific estate is actually one of the historic wine estates in South Africa. And Pinotage is actually a grape varietal that was curated, I think, in like 1925. And Pinotage is basically a cross between Pinot Noir and this other grape called Sanso. It's spelled, I wrote it down because it's spelled differently than how it's pronounced, but it's spelled Cinsaut. And you pronounce it Sanso. But the reason why this is called Pinotage is because Sanso, the grape varietal, was known as Hermitage. So when they crossed these two grapes together, they came up with the name Pinotage. So yeah, let's go ahead and dig into this producer. So this producer is actually, it's called Neethlingshof Estate wine, and it says Stellenbosch Pinotage 2022. So this specific producer is, like I said, one of South Africa's historic wine estates, and this dates back to like 1800s, 1700s type of situation. Like it was founded in 16, I think it says it on the bottom. Yeah, on the bottle it says established 1692. So this basically, the backstory in SparkNotes version of this estate is like in 1692, there was like a German settler that bought this land and he began farming the land. So they actually had a couple of different owners for the estate, but like as time went on, there was like progression in the estate. So after it was the owner was this guy with his wife, and they took over the estate, and they like kind of cultivated more of the vineyards. Like they grew the vineyards, they built the wine cellars, and they also planted tobacco at that time, which it was around the 1800s when that happened. So they kind of had control of it over it a while, and then they had like 3 more owners after that, because that was during the 1800s. Then if you fast forward to like early 1960s, it was sold to like a baker and that baker actually kind of restored, it was sold to him in I'm gonna give you the exact date. It was sold to the baker in 1985, and then that guy basically started renovating the entire property, from like the vineyards to the cellar to the buildings, kind of just restoring everything and basically giving everything a refresh because it was greatly needed. But for the most part, like this estate has been running for a while now. And they actually, so it's about 100 hectares, which is like 245 acres, I believe. And they have a bunch of grape varietals. So Pinotage is not the only grape varietal, but what I found interesting was like, so there's think of this estate, there's like it's on a hillside in like Western Cape. So in South Africa, they have this thing called the Cape Winelands, which is the area where this is from. And it's basically like in the western part of Cape is where this estate is located. And this specific estate is actually overlooking or facing the southeast of this body of water called the False Bay. So the hillside of the estate, because they have also valleys as well. So their vineyard is a combination of hillside vineyards and valley vineyards, which valley vineyards is just basically flat land versus hillside, it's on a hill. And the hillside part of the vineyards is actually overlooking the False Bay, which is a popular body of water known in South Africa. So I believe it's in the Atlantic Ocean, but don't quote me on that because I don't remember. But anyways, it was interesting because the hillside has like different types of soils than the valley side of it. This one specifically is on the southeast part of the vineyard, and the soil that Pinotage is grown in this vineyard or this estate, it's actually called Tukulu soils. So it's spelled Tukulu. And it's just basically a combination of clay and decomposed granite, which basically those types of soils, what they do is like they release moisture over an extended period of time. So it's really good for Pinotage, for growing Pinotage. So that's why they planted the Pinotage there. But I know around the Pinotage, they also plant a lot of their Cabernet Sauvignon grape varietals. And I believe the Würzminer, I don't know if I said it right, but they also have that grape varietal, which is a known German white grape varietal, but they also plant it there as well. And what I realized or noticed is that there's actually like a lot of German settlers that came to, I guess, South Africa during that time, because a lot of German owners or a lot of German people owned this specific estate. So it had its fair share of owners, but we are here now. We're gonna open it and we're gonna try it, and I'm excited. Nope, I can't do it that way. But I have heard nothing but good reviews about this wine. It cost me, how much does this one cost me? I think it cost me 16. I wrote it down too because that's important. It cost me $16.99 at Total Wine. Yeah. I have actually heard great things about South African wines, and I feel like they're very underrated. Before I take this off, there is like a integrity and sustainability certification on the top of the bottle here. So it's like a stamp. It's one of their certifications just certifying that this estate is basically a sustainable vineyard. And I also read up on that. They're very known for having a bunch of like sustainable practices when it comes to farming specifically. And fun fact about this specific wine or this producer is that this producer is actually like all their wines are actually vegan. So they're not only very biodiverse and sustainable, they're also they also wanted to make all their wines vegan and have been like all their wines are vegan. So if you are a vegan and are looking for a wine or a producer that you want to try out, because I know now it's more common than before, but this is a good, I haven't tried it, but we're going to try it now. But this is a good producer to go to if you want to try out their wines, because all their wines are vegan. And I like that they kind of just follow like the natural practices when it comes to like farming their land, because they kind of just let nature do its thing and like have minimal pest control situation, kind of like where I worked in California. They have the same farming practices as there. So I tend to like producers that stick more to the natural process and just like let nature do its thing and only, make adjustments where it's needed, when it's needed, but not necessarily interrupting the process if it's not necessary, which I think is very important. And it's something that I look for when I choose producers. So I like that. And then I did read that Pinotage, they hand harvest their grapes. So this specific grape varietal is harvested mid-February to like early March. And what they do is they basically ferment it for the 7 days. Like they do the whole fermentation process. And then once the malolactic fermentation is done, they put it in oak barrels. So like they put it 60% of the barrels are French oak barrels, 40% are American oak barrels, and then the other 40% is just basically new barrels, and they just allow the fermentation process to finish there after. So like after malolactic fermentation is done, they transfer it into the barrels and they leave it in those barrels for about 9 months. And then after the 9-month mark, they bottle the wine, and basically the wine, I don't know when it's put into the market, but once it's put into the market, you can basically drink it as is. So you can drink it as a young Pinotage, or I also read that Pinotage is a wine that can be aged or matured over time in the bottle for about 5 to 10 years. So it is still drinkable after 10 years of having the bottle, but you are more than welcome to drink it as soon as you buy it. So I like the versatility of that. I've never tried the Hermitage, or what is it called? Sansol? Sinsao? Oh my gosh. Yeah, Sansol grape. I just like look at the spelling in my mind and it's just pronounced way differently. But I've never tried that grape varietal. I've only tried Pinot Noir. So I'm kind of interested in maybe like on another episode getting a bottle that's just that grape varietal. I don't know if it's made. I'm sure it is somewhere, but it would be interesting to see what that grape tastes like by itself, because this is basically like a grape that was mixed in with that one and created a new grape. So let's go ahead and try this wine. So the color's already giving me like dark berry red color. It almost looks like the skin of a plum, like a dark plum. Ooh. I'm getting like a very spicy, like, yeah, it's like a lot of spices on the nose. So like vanilla for sure. Even like dark chocolate is what I'm smelling. And then definitely I smell like plum in there for sure. And even, oh my god, what is that smell? It kind of smells like what a Syrah smells like when you drink a Syrah from like California. Let's go ahead and try it. Ooh, I like this. It's very berry forward. Smooth, like dark chocolate smooth. Not very like very soft tannins. They're present, but they're not like harsh on your throat, which I really like, because it's just bringing out all the like fruity flavors in the wine. So like blackberry notes, plum flavor for sure. I'm even getting like even a hint of hibiscus. I'm even gonna say that, but I love how it just goes down smoothly. I would say it's a medium to almost full bodied, but I would keep it on the medium bodied side of things. But it is a very intense wine. Overall, I really like it. Like I just think it's like a really intense. For me, it's almost like if Pinot Noir and a Syrah got together and just like, this was a Pinot Noir with a Syrah in one cup. I really like this wine. And I think for the price point, I would definitely I would buy it again. I think it's great that it's vegan. So if you're a vegan out there looking for a medium bodied red wine to drink, this would probably be it. And if you don't like harsh tannins, if you like very soft tannins and kind of just like fruit forward flavors with a hint of hibiscus in there, definitely try a Pinotage out. This is a 2022 vintage, $16.99 at Total Wine, and my rating for this wine is going to be an 8.8 out of 10. I think overall, it's really delicious. It's not too much, and it's not very harsh. Like I feel like I can drink a lot of this wine and be okay with opening the same bottle again for a second round if we have obviously if you're at a dinner table with a bunch of people. But let me know if you try this wine out. Check it out. It's at Total Wine. I'm curious to try their other grape varietals because it already intrigued me that they are a sustainable farm and that other wines are vegan. So I don't know. I'm curious to try more of their wines, but let me know if you try this wine. Let me know if you like it. And as always, I hope you have your glass of wine tonight or your bottle. I don't judge. We don't judge here. And I will see you all on the next episode. Cheers.